When I was finishing high school, my desire was to be a math teacher because I had been impressed by my math instructor in the, I guess it was in the 11th grade. He was a phenomenal teacher. And he also had a doctorate degree teaching in high school. So that was, we were really fortunate to have that kind of training available to us as high school students. And that was what I was planning on doing until I got to college. And I met the president of Clark College, and I was a student leader and ended up being one of the first students on the Board of Trustees. So I had pretty close access to the president and really learned a lot of what he was doing to keep the school afloat and to bring prominence to what was being done in the Atlanta University Center. And so at that point, that's when I decided I wanted to be a college president.
So you really did have a plan. That was a goal early in your life.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you just say that you were a student trustee?
Yes.
Did you say you were one of the first?
Right. That was the first year that Clark College had student trustees. And there were 2 student trustees, and I was one of the 2.
What year was that?
That was 1970.
So do you have any sense of whether that was not only unusual there, since it was the first time, but if there was unusual in colleges in general? Well,
I knew that it was unusual in colleges in general, but I knew that there was a movement to do that. You know, this was the post-60s era, and we had already had the incident at Morehouse where the trustees had been locked up. And there was a great deal of tension between students who were progressive and trustees who were much more conservative and concerned about maintaining the institutions that they were serving. So I think Henderson was farsighted in having done that at an early point.
This is President Henderson?
President Vivian Henderson, yes.
And I just want to clarify, when you said locked up, did you mean locked up or did you mean locked in? Or did you really mean locked up?
Locked in.
Locked in?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm sure the trustees felt locked up.
So tell me a little bit more, please, about the mentors or role models that you had in your life. Oh,
there were several. Certainly there were first being your mother and father. Having a stable household to grow up in was an important thing, and I think in my life, and I'm sure in anyone else's life, because those are the formative years of your life. And then having the good fortune to have a good educational system. It was at that time a segregated system until I was in high school. And having very well prepared students and well prepared faculty who made sure that we stayed on task and they stayed in touch with our parents and all the rest to ensure the success of the students who were in high school and elementary school there.
Were there any mentors as you got a little older on this very trustee board that you were on that may have helped influence you even to this day?
That's a difficult question to answer. I got to reflect on that. I don't know. I know that we had a long time chair of the board, Ed Simon, it was his name, who served from the vantage point of being the CEO of one of the black insurance companies in Atlanta. And of course his style of managing the board and taking care of difficult issues was something that impressed me. But you know, while I was in college, there were a number of people. I also joined a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And there were a number of men there who served as mentors to make sure that the young men who were active at the national level got good training and got taught the lessons of leadership, how to control a meeting, and how to manage to make sure that a vision was carried out. So those people were incredible. Some of them are still around today, but most of them have passed on. Dutch Moriel, the former mayor of New Orleans, was one of those, and Charles Teamer, also of New Orleans. And then there was a gentleman who worked for the Internal Revenue Service by the name of Levin Weiss out of Detroit, who kind of took me on as one of his sons. He and his wife hosted me at their house and really talked to me about politics and all those things as I was coming along in college.
I just want to go back to the trustee board again because it's so interesting that you were one of the first to be in that role. were you well accepted? Were the non-students on the trustee board welcoming, or did you feel like you were sort of in a second-class position, or how would that go?
No, Henderson was really good about that. No, I was treated just like anybody else. That was an interesting experience. You know, you don't know how you're going to be received, but I was well received. I took part in all the activities that anybody else did. I was not held out of any of the activities, any of the meetings, sensitive or not. I was there.
Do you remember any big decisions that the trustees made while you were a student trustee?
Oh gosh, no, not. That's some time ago. But I just remember that there were closed meetings where other staff couldn't be there, but the trustees, student or not, were there.